Mirë se erdhët në Public Square, unë jam Ditmir Bushati. Europa po përjeton zhvillime dramatike, jo thjesht për shkak të luftës që po zhvillohet në kontinent prej më shumë se 3 viteve, por edhe për shkak të rindërtimit të aleancave të reja. Nga njëra anë Shtetet Bashkuara të Amerikës, nga ana tjetër Rusia dhe Kina, 3 nga aktorët më të rëndësishëm në skakierën ndërkombëtare. Çfarë mund të bëj Bashkimi Evropian dhe cila do të jetë ardhmja e projektit evropian? Si po projektohet kjo geopolitik e re në Ballkanin Perëndimor? Rajoni ynë është i rrethuar nga shtete që janë anëtare të Bashkimit Evropian. Shumë po flitet, por ende pak po bëhet për 2030-ën, si një datë të mundshme kur vendet e Ballkanit Perëndimor mund bëhen pjesë e familjes bashkuar europiane. Sot kam ftuar në Public Square ish presidentin e Slovenisë, një figurë mjaft e rëndësishme politike, Borut Pahor, i cili ka themeluar nismën e miqve të Ballkanit Perëndimor. Nisëm e cila avokon një përfshirje sa më të shpejtë të rajonit tonë brenda Bashkimit Evropian, por pse jo, krijimin në të ardhmen të Shteteve të Bashkuara të Europës, si një pol që mund të bashkëveprojë në mënyrë më të fuqishme me Shtetet Bashkuara të Amerikës, Rusinë dhe Kinën si aktor të rëndësishëm geopolitik. Mr. President, welcome to Public Square.
Thank you to have me on.
Let me start our discussion by asking you a direct question in relation to the new geopolitical context we are living in. What are your main takeaways about the new geopolitical context?
So it seems that the multipolar world is going out of the time, and the new world is coming in. The sphere of interest will, it seems, prevail instead of, classical order of international institutions, political and rule of law. Well, there will be much more, involvement of power of the states. As I said, sphere of interest will be a different kind of a world, which will be a little bit more complex than it has been until now. I'm not very optimistic about the new era, but there is no need for fear. I mean, we have to adapt, and we have to go through this period of transition in a way that nothing brutal would happen out of this, so that this transition would be a peaceful one.
When we speak about this peaceful transition, there is a war going on in our continent, and there is a new dynamic in the relationship between US and the European Union. And since the end of Second World War, the Europe was, or the security guarantees were always provided by US. Now it seems that with the new Trump administration, there is a shift in terms of security guarantees provided for Europe. What does this mean for the European security environment?
That is absolutely true. As you said, this is a correct reflection of the matter. So since the Second World War, Europe, if you want, European Union, has been under the security umbrella of the United States. And with the period of President Trump, this era is going out, and the new one is coming in, and this is the era of strategic autonomy of European Union. Will be a different type of a time ahead of us. We will have to adopt. At least to increase the financial support for our defense, but also to be a little bit more competitive and Basically, that is my assumption. EU should make a new institutional, let's say so, package of changes itself, because this is the only way to get there we would like to be. So being more competitive, more secure, global power in international community.
And do you think that this will also undermine somehow the social fabric of the societies within European Union, since more money will be going to defense and defense infrastructure, things which were quite unthinkable a few years ago for European citizens?
Well, listen, this is a legitimate question. Definitely, we have a limited amount of public money, and if we will spend much for defense, definitely there will be less money for, let's say, social security. But we are facing at the moment a historic need to give much more for a defense than ever before. This is a historic need. We have to do it. But at the same time, as I said, we have to go through institutional changes within European Union to make this European Union, let's say so, in a way, of United States of Europe, to be much more, productive, much more competitive, also in global economy. So producing more and then also giving more for a defense purposes.
There is a line of thought according to which we are living in the period of strong men, where you see an axis of Trump, Putin, and Xi in China, or there are pundits which are speaking about the new Yalta. Where do you see Europe and our region into this equation, since our region has suffered a lot in the past?
Well, let me start answering this question as follows. Number one, who do we have in Washington? Trump. He's a strong leader. Who do we have in Moscow? Putin, strong leader. Xi Jinping, back in Beijing, strong leader. So all those are strong leaders. What about, for example, Ursula von der Leyen? She's not so strong. She's weak as a leader of European Union, but not because she's a personally weak, but because the structure of her power is very, very limited. So that is why I said before, there is a historic need for a European Union not to invest much more in a defense, but also in its own structural reforms to make this European Union much more, a global power in not just in a sphere of defense, but also of economy, and that would make once again also this union prepared for the level of social security that has been there for decades. Now, if EU will go that way, I'm not scared about the role of EU in the next period of time in international community. I mean, EU will be a global power. Saying what I said before, if there will be enough reforms to make a EU great again, or there will be enough power to be at the table. At the moment, EU is not there, but I think with the structural changes, I think could be there in a couple of years.
How can the new geopolitical environment or the new geopolitical context be projected in the Western Balkans? You have been president, prime minister, speaker of the parliament of Slovenia. You have been quite engaged and very active in our region, and now you are also leading an initiative called Friends of Western Balkans. So On the other hand, when we discuss about Western Balkans with European leaders in a northern part of Europe, we keep reminding them that we are the underbelly of European Union because we are surrounded by EU member states, Slovenia, Croatia, Italy, Greece, Bulgaria, and Romania. So where do you see Western Balkans?
So one of the consequences of this new era in international community will be also a new division, I think, between democratic west of Europe and autocratic east of Europe. The question for the Western Balkans is where the line of this division will go in the sphere of Western Balkans. For example, will Serbia will be with us and European Union, or for example, Serbia will be out with the Moscow and included into the sphere of interest of Russian Federation. So this new division of Europe, it is crucial to see how to move on with enlargement process of EU. My statement as far as the enlargement process is concerned is that we are making a huge mistake by going on with the same protocol of this procedure as it has been done in last 20, 30 years. The time has come, in my view, because of the geopolitical reasons that EU would come into the region as fast as possible and to, include all 6 countries into EU. The political cost of such a dramatic move, it seems dramatic from this perspective, would be less costly to say than to wait and then to see other players much more active in the space of Western Balkans. So basically, I would like to appeal to European Commission to change the enlargement strategy from the old-fashioned one, which will not be productive in Western Balkans, and to proclaim a new one would be a package approach of Western Balkans involving all 6 countries at the same time, maybe next couple of years, let's say so in 2030 to European Union. So I think Brussels should say now, listen, we will be prepared for the enlargement for the Western Balkans in 2030. And you guys down there, you should be prepared, with institutions, with the democratic procedures, freedom of the speech, of media, to be, to be ready to get into. All problems will not be solved until 2030. But as I said, the political cost of such an operation would be less, would be lower than the political, cost of letting the region go as it goes at the moment.
It seems to me, Mr. President, that the European Commission has started to spell out some indicative timelines as far as the accession process of Montenegro and Albania is concerned, but we are not yet there when it comes to the real political commitment coming from EU member states. And we know that you have to have 3 actors in the game, candidate countries, European Commission and member states. What's your assessment about the political appetite of the EU member states?
Well, I know that it is appealing to European Commission to call for 2 countries now to be in the line, in the pipeline to become a next 2 members of the European Union. And I wish Montenegro and Albania all the best. But from security point of view, in new geopolitical context, I think would be much more wise for European Union to say that the package approach would be better and we would go with the new approach to the enlargement process. So if the Commission will, will go on with the statement of including country by country. Okay, we will see if Albania and Montenegro will be next members of European Union. But still, if this will be the result of the process, 4 countries would be out. And the question is, and it is a legitimate question, if the region would be safer or would be more vulnerable to geopolitical tensions in the future. So once again, I know that at this very moment, there is no consensus on the new approach of enlargement to the Western Balkans. It is the old-fashioned approach. In my view, should be changed. But if we'll stay as it is, then I wish all the best to Albania and Montenegro, and we will see what will be the result with other 4 countries. I do not overestimate the position of Serbia, but it is extremely important where Serbia will be in next couple of years after the possible enlargement with Montenegro and Albania. Because if we will lose Serbia, and if Serbia would be on the other side of this new wall, division between East and West, then the instability will be there because of Republika Srpska, because of the north of Kosovo and all that stuff. So this, idea of Srpski svet, the Serbian world, will be there and will be a reason of instability. So basically, EU have to decide if it goes just for enlargement process, then maybe to go with Montenegro and Albania is the way to go. But if EU would like to have a peace and security, and basically EU there, then it is time to change the policy.
And do you think that this can happen without an institutional reform of European Union? Because what I hear from colleagues and friends in key European capital, there is this fear of use of veto power. I don't want to be blunt into this conversation, but there is some frustration in some key capitals that they don't want a repetition of this and that practice that they are experiencing right now.
I do recognize that in capitals around 27, there is this fear of going with the veto and having six commissioners. But this could be, change in due process in next couple of years before 2030. We can change those problems into, opportunities. So, saying that the things will remain as they are, I think this is the wrong approach. Also, EU has to do the job, not just, countries in the region. So both should do their best if we would like to maintain peace and stability, and basically, if we would like to have EU there. If EU will not, go with the enlargement process a little bit faster, there is a danger that somebody else would be there. We don't know what Russian Federation will do with Dodik and President Dodik and Republika Srpska. Is this just a leverage that Russian Federation has in the region or in the whole Europe? What will happen with Serbia? Will be there a change of consensus among the Serbian population about European Union? At the moment, there is not a huge demand to get there at all. So I think it's now the task of EU to do a little bit more to be more appealing for member countries there. I think, listen, if we are talking about the new geopolitical context, I think we should be blind not to see the historic need for the faster enlargement to the Western Balkans. This is, I mean, this is so obvious. I don't know what we're waiting for. There is job to be done in Brussels. There is job to be done in candidate countries, but we have to push this process much more faster than it is now.
You are leading this initiative, Friends of Western Balkans, and certainly I could not agree more with you on what you have been advocating for the Western Balkans. But given the present geopolitical circumstances, what's your thinking about the future of Europe in 10 or 20 years? I mean, there is now coming up also again the discussion about a possible accession path for Turkey, a possible accession path for Iceland and Norway, giving into account what's going on also in the northern part of the continent. How do you see the future, the political finality of Europe as a project?
At this very moment, there are much more questions than answers, but there is one answer from my part that it is of very important weight, and this is the vision of United States of Europe. I'm talking about this concept for years. It's not a new, invention because of this geopolitical context. I have been always in favor of United States of Europe as a in a way European federalist unity sui generis. So something like that. So something new, basically sui generis, but much more connected than now. That I think would give the power to EU to boost then the economic development, social security, and not to forget also the defense capacity. So that is way to go. This I know. The other question remains also for me unanswered for the moment. But if we would now send a message to the European population, the population of EU, I think there would be a majority to go, to be a little bit more, connected than we are at the moment. I think that we would not be afraid of losing sovereignty, for example, Slovenia or Germany or France. I think that everybody, or almost everybody, would understand that there is, once again, I will use the word historic need to do that if we would like to play an important role inside and outside. So that is the answer that I'm in a capacity to give you at this very moment. And I think it is a very important answer if will be or should be considered in the next couple of years. I hope that there will be once again, as it has been 20 years ago, some sort of convention on the future of European Union. That the convention will be called to prepare a new draft of European constitution. That is a way to go. It will be difficult. There will be opposition, and rightly so. We have to debate very, very sensitive questions. But if now we are not capable to do this bold step, I don't see the situation in the future when would be much more appropriate than it is now. So now it's the time to do it.
And in that scenario that you are trying to explain to us, what would be the relationship between the United States of Europe with the United States, with Russia and China? That seems to be the three major players in the world stage.
I cannot imagine EU to be an equal partner with United States and Russian Federation and China at this very moment. It's not prepared as well as should be. But in in next decade, we could be much more prepared in the forum of the United States of Europe. Some sort of federalistic, unity sui generis, which will be much more strong and will be then, will be the player in international community. So I know how uh, that this is very much out of the box, thinking very much out of the box. But the time it is that basically addresses to give a new answer to all questions, how to go on with the European Union. And my answer is go in a way of United States of Europe, not to, being a melting pot as United States are, but to be sui generis a uh, federalistic country which would be influential inside and outside.
President Pahor, thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for sharing your thinking out of the box, which is very much needed for the times we are living in.
I will advocate a new strategy of enlargement. And I will say that one way to see the EU stronger in the future is the vision of United States of Europe. Yes.
It was a pleasure to have you on. Thank you.